Alright, I told you guys I'd make this video to try to help you with the dash on a 64. A couple guys were asking today, so I figured I'd hop up on this car that's up on the lift in the shop, and since everything's kind of torn out, I figured it would be a good one to kind of show you on. Don't mind the rat's nest here. This is the beginnings of a whole new wiring harness and the ends of that mess. But that's a whole other topic. But as far as the taking the dash out, typically I come over the dash, and I've got a couple of dash panels out down there that I'm going to show you guys. But here are the bolts in the back that I'm going to talk about in a second. When I show you guys on the actual dash, I believe there's 5 of them in total. Those are your 5 main bolts, and then these main bolts here, you're going to be coming from the bottom, I believe. This bracket is for the bottom part of the dash, and this is for the top part, and I'll show you guys a little bit better in a second. We were talking about the steering column things. You can kind of see that bolt there when we were doing a steering column video the other day. You can see I took this one out the same way I took the other one out. I just take one side of that bracket off and drop the column, and there's where the 2 main bolts go. But that's a different story. Kind of like this AC thing. If you guys ever take an AC box out, boy, it's a bitch. There's bolts on both sides, and there's just way more bolts than you ever think. These ones down here, you wouldn't really know were there. They're kind of behind everything, and you got to tear all that insulation out, and you might eventually find them. But here's the 2 bolts on the other side, or the 2 brackets on the other side. I mean, that's my remote for my top. Even when I have them in this stage, I put the remotes on the tops because it makes it easier to work on everything back there. But boy, lots of stuff to talk about, man. I don't mind making these videos for you guys. I mean, I do, run a shop, and I'm pretty busy, but I know how it is, and I'm trying to just be helpful, so I'll take the time whenever I can to make these videos. But I'm gonna go down there and show you guys on the actual dash. I just wanted to show you the brackets that I'm referring to. Oh, and I believe these, if I remember correctly, it's been a little bit since I took this out. I believe these brackets mount up here, and they're also 2 more mounts on the bottom part of the dash. Alright, so I'm going to try to keep this short, you guys. I'm doing this with my cell phone and stuff, and just kind of taking a quick video for you guys. These are the main bolts I was just mentioning. I don't know which order I'm going to put these clips in, but these are the main bolts that go up along the windshield. You can usually get to these when this is all the way down without taking this piece off, but you're pretty much going to have to do that anyway. So how I typically start is with these bolts up in here. You'll see them, actually I believe they're just Phillips head screws, and they go all the way around. This dash is a little bit rough, but there you go. So I take all these top screws out that are in these little indentions, and then what that does, it enables you to kind of pop this up. You can pry it a little bit if you have to, and then this piece pops out like so. You see these little clips. There's, I believe, 4 of them, 2 on each side. This is a rough, kind of a rough example. By the way, somebody was asking the speaker size. That pretty much looks like a 6x9 to me. People were arguing about it, but whatever. Here are how the clips look. Don't know if you can see that. It's basically just that little indentation there. That one looks a little bit better. You see how you can kind of see how that bar just kind of slides down in there. When you're putting it back, you just set it back down on there, and you push down like that, and it clicks into place. So if you start with that piece, you move that out of the way, it makes it a little bit easier to get to these bolts that are up against the window. I believe they're 3/8. Just use a long extension, get those loose, and then I'll show you, if I haven't already, I don't know which order I'm gonna put the clips, like I said, once you do that, you can take this whole thing out completely by loosening these other screws that go along the bottom here. And how you get to those, this is the bottom piece of the dash. You may or may not have this trim piece. A lot of them are missing over the years, but this trim piece just pops off. You see the little clips just like the door panel clips, and then behind there, that's where these holes connect in there, line up or whatever. Then you take those screws out, and that separates this top piece of the dash from the bottom piece. Here are the screws. Maybe I think I got a better look on this side, maybe. Nope. Where the hell did those go? anyway, the screws that I was mentioning, oh, here we go, on the on the bracket that comes off the side of the car that I just showed you, I think, that go up and come out, there's where the actual dash bolts to it. So, and I believe I just showed you that video, if I showed you that one first. If not, it's coming next. So there's the hole where the other one goes in. And that's it, man. There's 1 or 2 bolts on each side. You do those screws down there to separate the top from the bottom. You come up here, you take those screws out so you can pop this panel off the top, and then do those screws along the back, and you're out. Obviously you got to undo all your wiring harnesses and everything, but you know, that's obvious, and that's not what people were asking me. They're talking about actually removing the dash. There's only a few actual plugs to remove. There's a few on the left side, few on the right side, and you're pretty much in business as far as pulling the whole thing out. A lot of people were just asking about how to remove this top piece, so I'm kind of doing a comprehensive one. All right, so a lot of people were also asking how to remove this bottom piece. So here it is. Like I said, you take these screws out that separate it from the top, and then obviously these are the glove box screws. I don't think you actually have to take the glove box out. I could be wrong. I believe I just always do, because usually I'm stripping these things down to nothing. And then here are the bolts, just like on the top part. You got the big bolts that go to the mounts, the little L-shaped mounts that are on the side of the car. So I believe there's 2 on the bottom ones. So you take those out on both sides, and then you have these here. I always put the screws back in, as you can see, or at least I try to, in all the holes when I'm taking stuff out, because bagging and tagging, I mean, it works, but a lot of times, depending on what I'm doing, I try to put them back in the holes. But there's that little piece that goes around the door. I should have found one to show you guys, but you'll know what I'm talking about when you're looking at your dash. Kind of connects it to the side of the car. You take these screws out to take that little piece out, and then I believe there are 2 mounts around the ashtray I was showing you in the other video that connect it here as well. And that's it. And then this piece slides out. Again, you know, you got to undo your wiring harnesses and your switches and things like that. But you know, that's just a plug that comes off. Same here, plug. Most stuff is pretty simple. So I think that probably covers the basics. If there's anything specific you guys had a question about, well, let me know, and I'll try to answer it. Hope this helps, guys. So I wanted to also show you can take it out like this. If you're just trying to get back there, or maybe you're putting a vintage air in or something where you're just trying to get behind the dash to do some stuff, and you're not going to be removing all these gauges and doing a lot of stuff in the back. See if I can get back there. It's the same stuff I was talking about a minute ago with those basically same bolts, but I just wanted to show you guys this one whole piece. You can take the whole thing out like that if you want to, depending on what you're trying to do. Figured while I was at it, I'd go ahead and make this about taking the actual clusters out, this little chrome section here, in case you have something like that, little bug mosquito laying in there. Obviously that's not cool. So we're gonna take this out. It's basically these sets of screws like this, one on the top, one on the bottom. I usually take both of those out all the way along here. This whole piece comes out like basically a piece of angle iron, and then you go along the bottom also, same thing, screws all along the bottom. This whole piece will come out. Obviously there's wires and stuff that you got to disconnect and figure out what you're actually trying to do, and then I'll show you guys in a second. I've got another one that's out, so I'll show you that and what it looks like from the back. All right, so I wanted to show you guys the dash piece that I was just talking about. And Sophie, there's Sophie. That's one of my wife's rescues. She runs an animal sanctuary. It's called Camp Figwig Farm and Sanctuary. And this is a little rescue. Her back legs didn't work when she was tossed out in a box, and her back legs didn't work. And so now, after a little bit of love, her legs are working, and she's cute, and she's helping me fix the dash. So just wanted to show you guys, because a lot of people ask and are wondering what some things look like. There's a light switch, in case you had any questions. This is what the back of the dash looks like, and the lights and stuff. And there's Sophie again helping. And hey, say hi to the Suicide Slab guys, and Facebook and YouTube. And so the whole thing, here's the fuse box. This whole thing comes out. There's all the wiring harness that connects at the firewall the passenger side. So it all comes out together like that. And here they want to say hi too real fast. Hey Bubbas. There's a couple more of the animal sanctuary. Camp Figwig Animal Farm and Animal Sanctuary. So check it out on Facebook. Donate, help out, because right now it's all coming from fixing these Lincolns, man. And as you guys know, not a lot of profit in this. So here's the clock. The clock comes out with these 4 bolts. There's all the lights. Pretty much never have to mess with that, but I always change them to LEDs once I get to this point. Why not? Sidetracked with the animals and stuff. There's the back of the clock. This I wanted to show you guys real quick. This is why I always change over to vintage air, or what is it, retro air. I've never used them, but Tony has I guess been working with those guys. This was the vacuum switch for the AC. It's kind of ridiculous. You see how, I mean, the holes start to clog on their own over the years. You're counting on these 50-year-old vacuum lines to not do that, to not crack, which they always do. I mean, they're rubber, you know, and not to fall off like that. I mean, I barely touched that. So this was, you know, just kind of a poor, not really a poor design, but it's definitely a weak point in the ACs. And you see, I mean, how deep we are into the car at this point. So it's not like it's an easy fix when 1 or 2 of those fall off, and now you don't have defrost, or, you know, you can't get it to blow out the vents right, things like that. This is the culprit, and it's not an easy fix, or it's not easy to get to, I should say. All this stuff stops working over time. So you do the vintage air or the other retro one, and everything's electric, so you don't have that crap. So electric actuators and stuff like that. So you don't have to worry about the vacuum. I'm a big fan of taking every vacuum line out of these cars, even the door locks, everything. I just pull them all out, put electric door locks, electric everything. So just wanted to help you guys out. I hope that helps. And say bye to Sophie. She's out of here.